Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing. Today we are going to be continuing to read The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. So, let's get going, and if we find a good point, we'll even reverse time. She wished she could talk as he did. His speech was so quick and easy. It sounded as if he liked her and was not the least afraid she would not like him, though he was only a common moor boy, in patched clothes and with a funny face and a rough, rusty red head. As she came closer to him, she noticed that there was a clean, fresh scent of heather and grass and leaves about him, almost as if he were made of them. She liked it very much, and when she looked into his funny face with the red cheeks and round blue eyes, she forgot that she had felt shy. "Let us sit down on this log and look at them," she said. They sat down, and he took a clumsy little brown paper package out of his coat pocket. He untied the string, and inside there were ever so many neater and smaller packages with a picture of a flower on each one. There's a lot of... I don't know that one, actually. A lot of marionette and poppies, he said. Marionette's the sweetest smelling thing as grows, and it'll grow sweet wherever you cast it, same as poppies will. Them as'll come up and bloom if you just whistle to 'em. Them's the nicest of all. He stopped and turned his head quickly, his poppy-cheeked face lighting up. "Where's that robin as is calling us?" he said. The chirp came from a thick holly bush, bright with scarlet berries, and Mary thought she knew who it was. "Is it really calling us?" she asked. "Aye," said Dickon, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. "He's calling someone he's friends with. That's same as saying, 'Here I am, look at me, I wants a bit of a chat.' There he is in bush. Whose is he?" "He's Ben Weatherstaff's, but I think he knows me a little," answered Mary. "Aye, he knows thee," said Dickon in his low voice again, "and he likes thee. He's took thee on. He'll tell me all about thee in a minute." He moved quite close to the bush with the slow movement Mary had noticed before, and then he made a sound almost like the robin's own twitter. The robin listened for a few seconds, intently, and then answered quite as if he were replying to a question. "Aye, he's a friend of yours," chuckled Dickon. "Do you think he is?" cried Mary eagerly. She did so want to know. "Do you think he really likes me?" "He wouldn't come near thee if he didn't," answered Dickon. "Birds is rare choosers, and a robin can flout a body worse than a man. See, he's making up to thee now. Cannot thee see a chap? He's saying." And it really seemed as if it must be true. He so sidled and twittered and tilted as he hopped on this bush. "Do you understand everything birds say?" said Mary. Dickon's grin spread until he seemed all wide, red, curving mouth, and he rubbed his rough head. "I think I do, and they think I do," he said. "I've lived on moor with 'em so long. I've watched 'em break shell and come out and fledge and learn to fly and begin to sing, till I think I'm one of 'em. Sometimes I think perhaps I'm a bird or a fox or a rabbit or a squirrel or even a beetle, and I don't know it." He laughed and came back to the log and began to talk about the flower seeds again. He told her what they looked like when they were flowers. He told her how to plant them, and watch them, and feed and water them. "See here," he said suddenly, turning round to look at her. I'll plant them for thee myself. Where is the garden?" Mary's thin hands clutched each other as they lay on her lap. She did not know what to say. So for a whole minute she said nothing. She had never thought of this. She felt miserable, and she felt as if she went red and then pale. "There's got a bit of garden, hasn't there?" Dickon said. It was true that she had turned red and then pale. Dickon saw her do it, and as she still said nothing, he began to be puzzled. "Wouldn't they give thee a bit?" he asked. "Hasn't there got any yet?" She held her hands tighter and turned her eyes towards him. I don't know anything about boys, she said slowly. Could you keep a secret, if I told you one? It's a great secret. I don't know what I should do if anyone found it out. I believe I should die. She said the last sentence quite fiercely. Dickon looked more puzzled than ever, and even rubbed his hand over his rough head again. But he answered, quite good-humouredly. I'm keeping secrets all the time, he said. If I couldn't keep secrets from other lads, secrets about fox cubs and birds' nests and wild things' holes, there'd be naught safe on more. Aye, I can keep secrets. Mistress Mary did not mean to put out her hand and clutch his sleeve, but she did it. I've stolen a garden, she said very fast. It isn't mine, it isn't anybody's. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares for it. Nobody ever goes into it. Perhaps everything is dead in it already. I don't know. She began to feel hot and as contrary as she had ever felt in her life. I don't care. I don't care. Nobody has any right to take it from me when I care about it, and they don't. They're letting it die, all shut in by itself. She ended passionately, and she threw her arms over her face and burst out crying. Poor little Mistress Mary. Dickon's curious blue eyes grew rounder and rounder. Eh, 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 he said, drawing his exclamation out slowly. And the way he did it meant both wonder and sympathy. I've nothing to do, said Mary. Nothing belongs to me. I found it myself, and I got into it myself. I was only just like the robin, and they wouldn't take it from the robin. Where is it? Asked Dickon in a dropped voice. Mistress Mary got up from the log at once. She knew she felt contrary again, and obstinate, and she did not care at all. She was imperious and Indian, and at the same time hot and sorrowful. Come with me and I'll show you, she said. She led him round the laurel path, and to the walk where the ivy grew so thickly. Dickon followed her with a queer, almost pitying look on his face. He felt as if he were being led to look at some strange bird's nest, and must move softly. When she stepped to the wall and lifted the hanging ivy, he started. There was a door, and Mary pushed it slowly open, and they passed in together. And then Mary stood and waved her hand round defiantly. It's this, she said. It's a secret garden, and I'm the only one in the world who wants it to be alive. Dickon looked round and round about it, and round again. Eh, he almost whispered, it is a queer, pretty place. It's like as if a body was in a dream. And with that, we're actually going to finish reading, and I'm actually going to reverse time a little bit, because we are running fairly low, and we've come to the end of a chapter, and that kind of works out for us. So I'm very quickly going to reverse time. A little bit at least, until we get the next good spot. So back in time we go. Give us a little bit more reading time for the future. And I don't know why I use Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Book 1, to do this, but I always do. I have no idea why. It's just sort of become a habit at this point. But nevertheless, we're going to keep doing it. So, yeah. That's that. We're going to keep going until it stops going backwards in time. See how much time we can eke out of it. Not a bad amount, really. But yes, there we go. We are now... We now have more days available to us. I'll probably end up doing that in the future. Well, I will end up doing that in the future again, because we will not have enough time to finish the book otherwise. So, with that all said and done, come to the end of another chapter. We've met Dickon finally. I am going to say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.